Hello, my name is Drew Watts, and I will be going over Foody, which is a web responsive app that I designed. So, Foody is a web responsive app that offers users meal suggestions based on the preferences that they set during the sign up process. It is designed to help users add variety to their weekly meals and is health focused. So user personas were essential in helping me kind of get a scope of different user meal preferences, but also their technical limitations, how familiar they were with technology and how comfortable they were with it. It also helped me to empathize with them because certain users have kind of strict dietary needs that I hadn't really thought of. And then some are not so keen on using technology for planning out meals and finding recipes. So it helped me realize I needed to make something that was easy to use, but also fun to use. So I did three different user personas based on different age groups and also different meal preferences. This is my twin brother, Alec. He's a vegan, so he has a pretty strict diet. Um, He also doesn't really enjoy cooking, so that also made me realize how can I design something that makes people want to use it. And I also was able to determine that he's more of a mobile user and also sometimes uses his laptop. This is Maria. She's sort of similar to Alec in that she doesn't really like cooking, but she would like to be able to eat healthy. She said a really good point was that she views it almost like self-care. So she would be interested in having healthy meal suggestions, but she does have a thyroid condition, so she would have to have an app that would be able to uh, tailor recipes based on that. This is my mom. She is she loves cooking. She's very interested in discovering new recipes. She's constantly looking for new trends or things from other countries. However, she's not so tech savvy, so she would have to have something that's easy to use and also something where she could print out the recipes. She mentioned that. Like she also likes to have a physical copy. So user diagrams help me to kind of like get an idea of how the app would be organized in terms of what menus it needed, what features could be consolidated within those respective menus. Um, let's see. Okay, so this is like the sign in or sign up process. Also, it goes through how the user can search for a recipe, select a meal, also generate a week's worth of meal plans and then swap out meals. And this is yeah, the meal swap. So the user can, if there's a recipe that the user isn't too fond of, they can easily swap it out and choose one that they like. And this is also how the user would tailor the app to suit their dietary preferences. So the prototype, I did a really fun exercise called Crazy Eights where I sketched out a design, a screen within a minute. So each screen you just do for a minute and you can kind of iterate through many different designs, many different ideas in a short amount of time. And you can quickly eliminate things that don't work because it becomes apparent that if it's not really working on a piece of paper or if it's confusing on a piece of paper, then it's probably not going to work on a screen. So I was able to determine an effective design that seemed easy and fun to use. So this is the sketches, the final set sketches. You can see the sign up process, the dietary selection process, and then it goes to the week and the meals for that specific day. And then the bottom is the recipe view and how the user can swap out meals. So usability testing was very eye-opening. It kind of helped me determine what was successful and things that I hadn't really thought of that the app needed. So the goal was to test the usability of the app, also its ease and functionality. I wanted to make sure that the users could easily do the simplest tasks, and as well as determine if anything may have been potentially missing or confusing. So the objectives were if the user could sign up easily and set their dietary preferences, also how they feel about suggested recipes, and the ease of planning out the week's meals and swapping out recipes. The tasks were sign up for an account and select diet preferences, go to a specific date and generate a week of meals, and then also swap out meals for more desirable recipes. So I tested three different users. They all have different kind of like technical, logical use as well as different dietary preferences. I tested them virtually and I asked them to think out loud so I could kind of get an idea of what thought processes they were going through and kind of determine what it looked through their eyes. So some of them had the same issues. They felt the dietary preferences were not sufficient. They didn't like how it was organized during the sign up process. They didn't like the drop down menu with the combined with the check boxes to modify the diet. They found that confusing. They also couldn't easily get to a specific date. So that was an ongoing issue for all three. And then one of the users, I'm sorry, for two of them. And then one of the users found how the menus were phrased to be a bit confusing. So the solutions, I realized I had to make an easier sign up process that was also more specific to the users. So they could kind of tailor it to specific needs that didn't necessarily fall under the category of a full diet, but was maybe one of their specific preferences. And then I also had to make the calendar readily accessible from the navigation bar and rename certain menus to make them clearer, more easily to understand. And so what went well? The sketching the prototypes went really well. I could go through many designs quickly and determine a successful one early on. And usability testing went well in helping determine what worked really well and also what I needed to improve on. So what didn't go well? Certain interfaces, specifically with the sign-up process, they didn't like the layout of it, and it was also confusing going to specific dates to generate meals. So what I could improve would be the interface of certain screens, especially the sign-up process, the date selection, and then also the verbiage of certain menus. So my action points would be to redesign the sign-up process, make it easier to use, but also more specific, and then add more potential dietary selections, and then also redesign the calendar view. Okay, thank you so much.